They told her she didn't belong in the symphony hall. A blind, black street violinist, mocked for daring to dream. When the maestro laughed, the crowd joined in. "You can't even see the music," he shouted. But what none of them knew was that the song she was about to play would bring the entire world to silence. Because sometimes, you don't need sight to open people's eyes. The bow touched the string, and everything changed. "Get that girl off my stage, this isn't a street show." The words cut through the daylight like a blade. Cameras clicked, people whispered. At the center of the grand rehearsal hall, Maya Thompson stood still, 19, blind, her brown skin glowing beneath the skylight, her violin trembling slightly in her hand. She'd been invited to the open audition for the National Symphony's summer program, but now even the air seemed to turn against her. Victor Langford, the silver-haired maestro, stared down from the podium. "We don't need charity cases pretending to be musicians," he sneered. Laughter rippled through the rows of interns and assistants. Maya didn't move. She tilted her head toward the sound of his voice, as if memorizing the shape of humiliation. Then she whispered, "I only need 1 minute." The maestro chuckled. "1 minute to prove you can't play?" She lifted the bow. "No. 1 minute to prove you can't listen." The room froze. Victor motioned to security, but the director of auditions gestured, "Let her play." Maya took a slow breath. The sound of mocking footsteps echoed behind her. Someone filmed her with a phone. The red light of recording gleamed against her dark hair, a tiny wound made of pixels. She placed the violin beneath her chin. Her fingers searched the strings like a blind person reading Braille. For 3 seconds, silence. Then, one trembling note, soft as a heartbeat. The laughter faltered. Each note that followed carried weight, hesitation, then defiance, then grief. When the bow quivered at the bridge, a child in the back whispered, "She's crying." No, it wasn't tears, it was sound bending under pain. As the melody unfolded, Victor muttered, "This isn't technique. This is chaos." But an old sound engineer near the booth whispered, "No, that's the light for the blind." Victor turned sharply. "Impossible. That piece hasn't been released." Maya smiled faintly. "Maybe because I haven't given permission yet." The room gasped. The maestro's face drained of color. He had praised the light for the blind in interviews, calling its composer a mystery genius who understood silence. Now the blind girl before him was claiming it. He stepped down from the podium, towering over her. "You expect me to believe you wrote that? You can't even read music." Maya lowered the bow. "I don't read it, I feel it." He smirked. "Feeling isn't art. Art is mastery." She turned toward his voice. "Then why did mastery forget how to feel?" For a heartbeat, the audience couldn't tell who held the power. Victor shouted, "You people always think emotion replaces discipline." That broke the silence. The crowd gasped. Phones recorded. The orchestra manager whispered, "End this now before it ruins us." But Maya raised her bow again. "I'm not ending anything." She began to play, not the same piece, but something new. Raw. Fierce. A duet between fury and grace. Each stroke cut through the prejudice in the room until even the chandeliers seemed to tremble. By the time the final note faded, no one breathed. The video hit the internet within hours. The clip titled "Blind Black Violinist Silences the Symphony Hall" spread faster than any PR campaign ever could. Morning news anchors called her the girl who made the world stop to listen. A week later, at a televised gala, Victor Langford stood beside her again, no podium, no baton, just silence. He turned to her before the broadcast. "You won, Miss Thompson." She shook her head. "No, maestro. We all did. You just forgot what music was for." Then she stepped forward and played the same piece, the one he'd once called a miracle born from pain. This time, the world didn't applaud out of sympathy. They stood because they finally heard. And when the music ended, the silence that followed wasn't empty, it was the sound of change.